AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from downtown Baton Rouge.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yes, and Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. And hour 3 on a Tuesday means we get to visit with our buddy Sean Salisbury, of course, Sports Talk 790 in Houston. Also the host of Unpaved, his new YouTube show. Make sure you check it out and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Sean, thanks for the time as always. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you? Good to be on with you.
Hey, man, thank you as always. We appreciate it. Let me just start with what's going on in San Francisco, because the Niners are going to come to New Orleans this week, and it looks like Brock Purdy may be on the shelf, and it might be Mac Jones. First of all, shoulder, toe for Purdy. What's a week like this for a quarterback in the NFL going through those injuries, trying to potentially get ready to play?
If you're not practicing, I remember seeing the old picture. I'm sure you did too, Matt. Actually, Jack Del Rio showed it to me when he was in Denver, and Jack's one of my best friends. Is Peyton Manning was in the tub with his helmet on, when he was hurt in Denver. They were out on the practice field. He had the script to practice. Now, Manning's a freak, as we know, his preparation. But he had the script to practice, and he was sitting in like a hot, cold tub with his helmet on listening to the play call while he was hurt, and they were on the field. Now, that dude's a different level, but if you want to get to that level, that's the preparation it takes, because you're trying to get as much treatment. This is where the trainers and the team doctors and those guys who are taping your ankles, getting your ice and stem and all the stuff you need become the MVPs. So you're doing it, you're actually, to get back on the field, you're not just doing it while you're at the facility, you're doing it at home. You may stay around the facility longer, especially if it's one of those where it's a fence sit, Matt, where you're not sure if you're.
I think his cell might have gone out right there. We'll obviously have a lot we're going to get into here with Sean. Cell phone just, I think, maybe hit a little bad spot there. Normally Sean's with us on video, but he's traveling today, so he's on cell with us. But want to certainly get the thought of not only what's Purdy's preparation like, so if he's available this week, but then if he's not, how big of a drop-off from Purdy to Mac Jones, which we'll talk about here in just a second with Sean. And then we always have Sean for 2 segments, so also want to make sure that with Sean we get into our conversation about DJ Lagway, as the Gators are coming to Baton Rouge this weekend, and Sean has actually coached at different high school camps and elite events, DJ Lagway. So what's the perspective there? And then similar to the conversation we're having here about Brock Purdy, you don't practice during the week. What's your preparation like? Are you realistically going to be good in time for the game? Similar with Lagway, who didn't go through spring and then didn't go through most of fall camp here for the Gators, and it's looked rusty for the first couple of weeks. So we'll dive into that here in the second segment with Sean as well. We're trying to reconnect with him here. It's a Tuesday edition of AFR. We are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Okay, we're having trouble with the phone. Man, God dog it. I was really looking forward to this conversation all day today. So as we mentioned, Sean's normally at home on a video conference with us with his home internet. He's traveling today, so he's on the phone. So and we all get it life with cell phones. So I did want to dive into this conversation. Hopefully we are able to reconnect right there. One thing I'll also mention is as LSU and Florida are both getting ready for the game this weekend. Tonight, Tuesday, is when LSU has player interviews with the media, usually coming up here about 5:45 Central. So in about 45 minutes from right now when practice ends. So we'll also hear from the LSU football players coming off the sluggish game against Louisiana Tech and how they're getting ready for Florida. It'll be interesting to see who they bring out. I want to remind you, there are two players on this LSU football team that were playing for Florida a year ago, and Jack Pyburn and Jakeem Jackson. Now, Jakeem Jackson has not really made an impact so far, and I don't know, barring injury, that he will on this team. But Jack Pyburn has, and he's a starting defensive end for this team, or certainly a key part of the rotation, and will continue to be. And a year ago in this game in Gainesville, made 8 tackles for Florida, which tied for second on the team. Shamar James led the team with 11 tackles, and Jack Pyburn was second with 8. So it will be I'd love to hear from Jack Pyburn if the coaches make him available this week, in a week where he's playing his former team, a team he grew up rooting for, then had the dream to play for the Gators, and then ultimately hit the portal seeking a better individual opportunity, landed at LSU, and now is obviously been one of the key impact guys early in the season for LSU there at defensive end. Okay,
we're not there yet. The connection's just really bad right now.
Okay, all right, we'll keep trying for Sean. All right, it's after further review. I'll just kind of pivot, and if we can get Sean reconnected, if Muse can get Sean reconnected, we'll do that. We'll look forward to it. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text us in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Lots of ways that you get involved in the show. If you missed it, we went through just a bit ago in the last hour as well. The big news here locally is Sadir Mitchell, the big defensive tackle from the transfer from Texas. Shea Dixon had the report, no longer with the LSU football program. He's not listed on the roster, and Shea reported he's not with the team. So again, something that I don't think is a surprise. I think the timing is a surprise. The decision is objectively not a surprise, considering he came here to play for Bo Davis. We've talked about it over and over and over. The type, stylistically, of defensive tackle Bo Davis wanted big, large space eaters. Kyle Williams wants smaller, faster, more athletic, agile, get up the field, rush the passer type guys. So for Sadir Mitchell, it makes a lot of sense. Preserve your year of eligibility, hit the transfer portal, go play somewhere else where it fits. And so wherever he lands, we'll see. But it's very reminiscent of what happened with Dylan Battle, who signed with LSU and was being recruited to Texas by Bo Davis. Bo Davis gets the LSU job. He signs with LSU before he ever shows up. Bo Davis leaves for the New Orleans Saints. Dylan Battle leaves LSU. He's now a defensive lineman at the University of Utah. So sometimes, the fit matters a lot. With Sadir Mitchell, it's not a fit with Kyle Williams. So I get why he's on the way out. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com. Always got my bottle of Evermore. As a matter of fact, I have a frog in my throat. Take a quick sip. Natural artesian water, healthier alternative for your family, for anything. Put it in your Keurig for your coffee. Use it to brush your teeth if you want. But most importantly, use it to stay hydrated. This time of year where it's hot outside, even though it's getting a little cooler, you sweat all the time, you got to stay hydrated. It's an important part of health and healthy living. Evermore's natural artesian water. I always challenge it. Go pick up a bottle of water, a popular bottle of water. You might, a different brand. Look at that bottle and see when it says different things added or taken out of it. With Evermore, this is a natural product. Piped straight out of that well into the bottle, never touches air until you uncork it, uncap it, and take that first delicious sip. It's Evermore, EVAMOR. You can find retailers that carry it online at evermore.com, or you can order it online at evermore.com, EVAMOR, evermore.com. All right, so are we not trying for Sean anymore?
I am. The connection's just still, okay. I can't really understand him when I talk to him right now.
Okay, no worries. If we can get Sean back, that'd be great. Let me grab a quick break. We'll come back. We'll pivot. We'll see if we can get Sean. If we can, great. Bummed if we can't. If not, Billy Napier met with reporters on Monday. And Brian Kelly actually had some comments about Napier as well and the situation going on there at Florida. So we'll pivot and dive into that when we come back. If we can't reconnect with Sean, my apologies for the issue with the phone. You get it. It's life in 2025 when people have issues with cell phones sometimes. So we'll move on. If we can get Sean, great. If not, we'll pivot. We'll talk some Brian Kelly, Billy Napier when we come back on AFR.
AFR.
Man, I'm so thrilled. every time I talk to my friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness about the response they've gotten from you, from our audience. And I think what that means is we all collectively, men, society, are having an open conversation about things like hormone replacement therapy that, I don't know, 5-10 years ago, maybe there was a stigma associated with it. But it's why I'm thrilled to be someone here who shouts this message every single day. I've told you my story. I mean, as a 34-year-old man, after spending nearly a year in the hospital with my son, going through an incredible, life-changing, stressful event, that stress had a physical manifestation on my body, and my testosterone was in the 200s. I had no idea until I had my blood labs run. I started supplementing. I'm at healthy levels now. You don't know how bad you feel until you start feeling good again. Go for that blood test. YourGoodWood.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Well, she ain't in the cars or pickup trucks, but if it runs like...
Still have a lot of confidence in this group. It's important to know. I do think that this group, when they do it right, it is fun to watch. And we need to do that more consistently going forward to put our team in position to win.
That's Billy Napier. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine. Come take pictures with the big LSU tractor by Mike the Tiger for every home game. If your little ones love tractors, the whole touch a truck thing, you do it. The LSU tractor by Mike the Tiger's cage. Every home game, courtesy of Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. This week, of course, the home game is LSU welcoming in the Florida Gators. And Billy Napier, who is squarely on the hottest of seats imaginable. Napier was also asked Monday if he feels like there's a sense of urgency for his team given the loss to South Florida, and if you honestly do have real legitimate playoff aspirations and what you have ahead, like you have to win these games.
There's urgency in this building every day. And I would say when you're going to Baton Rouge to play, number 3 team in the country, this is an incredible opportunity. And really a special experience to go play on the road in this league against a good team. So it's what you sign up for. It's why you come here.
You know, I think Billy Napier is a good dude and a good coach. Sometimes it's not always a great situation. And this may be an illustration of that in Gainesville, how it just hasn't come together yet. It felt like maybe that was happening at the end of last season when they beat LSU, beat Ole Miss, beat Florida State, won the bowl game. It looked like they were trending up. The vote of confidence from Scott Strickland looked to be come up smelling like roses. And then right out the chute, after beating Long Island, you lose a home game to South Florida. And now, I think even more so it has people a little on edge with Florida is you look at what's ahead because you're 1-1 and now you have to go play at LSU, at Miami, Texas, at Texas A&M. And then what felt like a breather against Mississippi State all of a sudden looks more challenging. They got to play Georgia and Jacksonville. You're at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, which is going to be a big challenge. And then you still have Tennessee and Florida State at the end of your schedule. I mean, how you get out of this 7-5 would feel miraculous for the schedule they have ahead and the struggles that they've already shown. One thing is for certain for Florida is they have got to get DJ Lagway going. And I was watching a YouTube video of some film study of DJ Lagway, and I'm not going to bore you with all that. And that may be something that just football nerds might nerd out on. And I don't know that has mass appeal, but the 10,000-foot view takeaway was DJ Lagway is rusty. Throws that he normally makes, he is not making. And a lot of that is probably timing with his receivers and reps because Lagway, having the shoulder injury, was shut down in spring, and then he was battling a leg injury, which kept him out for most of fall camp. So you're talking about a guy that hasn't really been consistently doing football-adjacent activities since the end of last season. I mean, 8 months is a long time without doing football-related things every single day and repping them, and it's going to take time for Lagway. And it's one of those things that Billy Napier on Monday talked about pretty openly with Lagway?
I thought he made a lot of steps forward in the game Saturday. I think he's still getting comfortable. You guys can see that much like he can and we can. So he's still getting in the rhythm. This was third week of practice. You can see that, getting comfortable with some of these skill players. And then, I think he's really close, to having a huge day. And, he takes that personal, and he's an elite competitor.
I want to remind you, despite all of the fanfare about DJ Lagway, and physically, I get it. He's 6'3", 247 pounds. He can throw the ball over the mountains. I mean, it's impressive to look at him as his physical ability, and you can see why he was so highly touted. But a year ago, DJ Lagway completed 59% of his passes. That's not good. He had 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's not good. You can look at the 1,900 passing yards and go, oh, that's really good. And then you remind yourself that he played Samford, made his first start, and threw for 456 and 3 tuds in that one game. It counts, but outside of the Samford game, you're talking about a guy that threw for 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He was Michael Van Buren. Like that's what he was. But he was a 5-star. And I firmly believe that DJ Lagway has really tremendous upside. It's hard not to argue that with the size and the ability. If the light switch comes on, he can be awesome. But you heard Billy Napier say it. Like, it's not me, Matt, and Baton Rouge saying it. The head coach of the Florida Gators said he just finished his 3rd week of practice. It's been 3 weeks of practice. No spring football, no fall camps. He showed up the week before the Long Island game. And now you got to come to Baton Rouge? It's a big challenge. Napier also talked about where Lagway needs to improve.
There's a few plays in the game Saturday where he can keep working through his progression. And then in general, I think that we got speed outside, right? In certain weeks, they're going to be conservative and try to keep it in front of you. So, I think part of that is design. We can help him, but he also knows he's got to help himself at times. So part of playing quarterback is taking what the defense gives you, and eventually they'll give you the game. So, you got the ball in your hands. You're the decision maker. Obviously, he knows where he needs to improve. So, and he will improve. He's done it in the past. He's done it within both games. He just has to do it on a consistent basis.
It is an unenviable ask for DJ Lagway. Coming to Baton Rouge against this defense, which we've seen through 2 weeks, which is just plumb awesome, with all of the pass rush ability, the creativity of Blake Baker, the talent now on the outside and the back end with Halsey and Cooley back there, an experienced guy like Jordan Gilbert. Harold Perkins looks like himself again. Mansour Delane's a true lockdown, and that doesn't even talk about the freakish pass rushing ability that you have across the board. It's a big ask for Lagway in this Florida offense to come in and try to be able to match LSU, which is why the key for Florida is going to be playing a great defensive game, limiting the LSU offense, keeping it a one-score game, so maybe you get that fumble, that turnover in the red zone, you get the busted play. Remember, the play a year ago that put the game out of reach for Florida was the 55-yard touchdown run late in the fourth quarter. It was a one-score game throughout. And then Florida busted the 55-yarder. They went up 2 scores, and LSU plumb ran out of time. So that's going to be Florida's blueprint, is a similar type path, because LSU's deeper, talented, more talented at home, all that sort of stuff. The key for LSU is going to be go out there and play well enough offensively to where it doesn't come down to that. And last year, that Florida defense is their ability to rush Garrett Nussmeier is what made that game what it was. LSU had long, sustained drives. We went through this. LSU held the ball for 42 minutes in the game a year ago, had 25 first downs to 13. LSU dominated the yardstick a year ago, but lost the game by 11 because they couldn't finish drives. And in large part, that was because Florida generally came up with the big TFL, the big sack at the moment when they needed it. But I'll remind you, Shamar James is now with the Dallas Cowboys. Jack Pyburn now plays for LSU. LT McCrary, he broke his foot. He's out. We'll see what happens with Brendan Bett. By the way, Brendan Bett's the guy who who spit on the South Florida player the other day. Billy Napier was asked about Brendan Bett and his status. So he was ejected from the game, but it was an unsportsmanlike conduct, so that does not carry an NCAA-mandated first-half suspension against LSU. So the NCAA is not mandating a suspension. That would have to come from Billy Napier, and here was Napier when he was asked about that.
But he's not suspended for this game.
We haven't made that decision yet.
Yeah, let me hear the full. He talked a little bit more about Brendan Bett.
We spent quite a bit of time with him yesterday. I think that the kid is remorseful. I think he feels as if he let the team down. In general, it was out of character for him, and he made a mistake, and he compromised the team. He made a selfish decision. There'll be some internal discipline. Obviously, he was suspended, and he'll have an opportunity today to apologize to the team, and he's going to apologize publicly. We're even having him reach out to the young man on the other team.
You said obviously he was suspended. You mean ejected?
Yeah, he didn't play.
But he's not suspended for this game.
We haven't made that decision yet.
So, listen, I can't imagine that Billy Napier was going to suspend Brendan Betts. You're not going to cut off your nose to spite your face. He knows the pressure that's weighing upon him right now. They're already going to be thin. As we mentioned, LJ McCray, the defensive lineman, out with a broken foot. Caleb Banks still has not played this year. Caleb Banks is 6'6", 330. He's a massive human at defensive tackle who had a sack in the TFL a year ago against LSU in this game. I had a chance to interview Caleb Banks at SEC Football Media. Florida brought him to SEC Football Media Days. Napier gave a non-update on Caleb Banks.
Yeah, we'll see. We got work to do this week to see where they're at, what their work capacity is. Obviously you guys will have your first injury report of the year on Wednesday night.
He was asked about Caleb Banks and about wide receiver Dallas Wilson, so gave no updates there on either of them. But again, Caleb Banks hasn't played in 2 games with a lower leg injury, so there's the possibility you have no Caleb Banks. You're not going to have LJ McCray. Pyburn and Shamar James were big parts of your win last year, and they're no longer there. In fact, Pyburn's playing on the other team now. It feels like a really steep climb for Florida. But the emotion of the embarrassment of last week, I think, does fuel Florida this week. It's why I think it will be a very competitive game. I think LSU is a dramatically better football team than Florida, but I do also think that Florida will be locked in coming off the embarrassment of this week of losing to South Florida. Jake Crane was on with us last hour and said it. Like, the worst thing that could have happened for LSU was Florida losing that game, because I think it does give them a renewed focus this week as they get ready for the LSU game. Brian Kelly was asked about Billy Napier's situation at Florida. This was on Monday, and not surprising. I mean, I think coaches defend their own, and Brian Kelly defended Billy Napier.
Really good football coach. He knows his team. He knows what their strengths and weaknesses are. You can see it on film. He's building a culture that is fit to his eye in terms of what he wants to do. He's doing it his way. That's awesome. Look, I came in here, right, and Ed was here. He won a national championship, right? But he did it his way, right? It was his way, and that's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the way he went. They wanted to make a change. I do it my way. It takes time to put in your philosophy and the way you like to do things. I do them a lot different than Ed does. And it's the same thing with Billy. Billy's come in after 2 or 3 other head coaches that changed the way the other coaches did it. And now he's starting to stabilize that program. So people talk about whatever they want. It's crazy. It takes you what it takes. And he'll get that thing where he wants it. I think he's got it right now. They beat us last year.
There's 2 things Brian Kelly said there that I do just fundamentally disagree with. One, he talked about Billy Napier instilling culture. Culture where a late-game situation where one of your defensive linemen spits on an opponent, giving them 15 yards to kick the game-winning field goal. I could push back against that. And then said that he's already stabilized it. 6-7, 5-7. Last year, 8-5 with the bowl game. They went 7-5 and then won the bowl game to get to 8-5. And then this year they've lost to South Florida. I don't think you can argue that he's already done it, that he's established it. Yes, they beat LSU a year ago, but does that tell you that he's established a culture or winning cultures and habits? I mean, I think back to 2020, that COVID year, which was such a disaster at LSU. I mean, LSU was was a heavy underdog on the road at Florida and won that game with the field goal through the fog. A guy threw a shoe. Anyway, look, specifically from an LSU perspective, I'm kind of torn on these things. Like, I like to laugh at Kalen DeBose losing those games at Alabama. I kind of want him to stick around because that culture is eroding. Like, he's not Nick Saban. I mean, it is like the substitute teacher's in and everybody's partying, and that thing's just going to continue to erode the longer he's there. So I don't want him to go. But I know if you bring in someone new, then you're tearing it down again, and it's going to take time to rebuild it. So that's going to be fun to watch him do that again and lose more. Same thing in Florida. But there's always the opportunity that you fire the guy, you bring in someone else, there's always the chance they get it right. Now, they haven't gotten it right since Urban Meyer. And, Steve Spurrier was gone, and they brought in Ron Zook, and that didn't work. And Jim McElwain didn't work. And Dan Mullen didn't work. And you've had guys who've had periods of success, but not the level of success Spurrier or Meyer did. Now, those are all-time great coaches, but they also had great situations with great resources. So you give the right coach the right amount of resources, the thought is, in theory, is they can win at the right level. It's why I've always looked at a team like A&M and thought they're a threat because they have the resources. They have the recruiting base, they have the alumni support, they have the money, they have the facilities, they have the boosters, they have all of it. They have everything you need to win championships. They've just never gotten the coaching hire right. They didn't have it right with Sumlin. They thought they had it with Francione years ago when they got him from Alabama. They just can't get it right. Maybe they do with Elko, but remains to be seen if he can win at a high enough level. But I'd say the same about Florida and Napier. I'd love for them to keep Billy there and just keep miring yourself in mediocrity, because they fire him. Yes, they're starting over again, but there's always the possibility that you could remove the glass ceiling from the program that I think is there with Billy Napier as the head coach pretty clearly. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, with locations all over South Louisiana. Hey, look, the Tigers are at home this weekend, then they're at home against Southeastern. But in a couple of weeks, Tigers are taking off for Oxford. Maybe you're making that road trip this year to Oxford. Maybe next month you're making the road trip to Nashville. Or in November you're going to Tuscaloosa or Norman. If you're going to be heading out for that road trip this year, make sure you bring your vehicle to Shawbills. They'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they'll treat you like family. So whatever service you need, you'll keep coming back year after year after year. That's how they've built loyalty for nearly 60 years. Since 1968, it's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. Shop tires online. See their great specials online. Hit the promotions tab. You can schedule service online. You can talk to an associate online. It's all there for you at the website at ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's after further review. Apologies, we missed Sean Salisbury. Man, I was really looking forward to that conversation, but sometimes it happens, man. Things happen, and he was just in a bad cell as he was traveling today, and so we missed Sean. But we'll see if we might be able to reconnect with him at some point later in the week. All right, Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks in 15 minutes. Auto Locks are posted at LouisianaSports.net. If you want to go get your bets in for tonight, you can do it right now. We'll grab a quick break, come back. You want to get a call, text, email, tweet in. You can feel free to do it. Stick around with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
At Glow Resources, they're fond of saying complete employer solutions. That's because at Glow Resources, they are not a temp staffing agency. They do not work for the employee. They're not finding you a job. At Glow Resources, they work for you, the business owner, because they are a permanent solution at Glow Resources. Yes, they specialize in skilled blue-collar welders, carpenters, heavy equipment operators, crane operators, but also on the admin side. That's why they have their professional placement division. And it doesn't matter what industry, civil construction, maritime, service companies, appliances, they do it all. If you need the right people in your business, let Glow Resources help you find them. And truthfully, one of the big reasons people love to work at Glow Resources is because they're fun. They're cool, they're fun, they're easy to deal with, and yes, they get you results. Everyone is looking for help hiring. Let Glow Resources help your business today. GLO, glowresources.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She likes the way it's pulling while we're tilling up her land. She's even kind of crazy about my farmer's tan. She's the only one who really understands what gets me. She thinks my tractor She thinks my tractor's sexy. She thinks my tractor's sexy.
Hey, look, don't think that buying lawnmowers and tractors and all that stuff is best just in the springtime. Especially if you need that tax write-off, this could be the perfect time to purchase. Get on by and see our friends at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Great time to get a Gator as well, considering it's Gator Week, Gator Hate Week. Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. The LSU baseball schedule for 2026 has been released. Tigers will play a couple of games in November again. Remember, the NCAA allowed that now. They will go back to Biloxi. They'll play Samford in an exhibition on November the 2nd. That'll be a Sunday. Then a week later, they'll play Southeastern in Hammond, America in an exhibition. So love that opportunity for LSU to get out, play a game against a couple of other teams. Tigers will open up their title defense against Milwaukee, which is Algonquin for the good land. Friday, February 13th, 3-game series. Of note, they will play in the Jacks College Baseball Classic in Jacksonville at VyStar Ballpark. Who plays at VyStar Ballpark? What minor league teams in Jacksonville?
I think that might be the Jumbo Shrimp, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp.
Is Jacksonville the Jumbo Shrimp?
They are. Jacksonville is the Jumbo Shrimp. Let's see. They play their home baseball, Scone, at VyStar Ballpark.
There you go.
There it is. Yes.
Give yourself a ding there, Muse.
I'll do it.
See that, the Jumbo Shrimp. Indiana, Notre Dame, and Central Florida are the three opponents that LSU will play. Would say I wonder if Palmineri will be there. Don't think he'll be. He'll probably be coaching South Carolina at that time. So,
yeah,
right. Well, we don't need to get too deep into a baseball conversation on what Palmineri is going to do in year 2 at South Carolina. But a hodgepodge weekend against Northeastern, Dartmouth, and then Northeastern again. Sacramento State comes to the box. Creighton for a midweek game on March the 10th. That's interesting. Then they'll start SEC play on March the 13th. Here's the SEC slate. Your 10 SEC weekends. At Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Kentucky, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss, Texas A&M, at Mississippi State, South Carolina's Palmineri will come to the box, at Georgia, Florida. Who did Jake Johnson piss off at the league office? I mean, that's got to be the most brutal road conference schedule I can remember for LSU. Opening up at Vanderbilt, you get at Vanderbilt, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss, by the way, at Tennessee, at Ole Miss back-to-back weeks, at Mississippi State, and at Georgia. Well, bleep you. By the way, I'd like to congratulate Dave Van Horn and the Arkansas Razorbacks early for their Southeastern Conference Championship. Not that that's anything new over there. They can't win in Omaha. But Arkansas doesn't play LSU, Tennessee, Texas, Texas A&M, or Vandy. I mean, an absolute atrocity. I mean, this is the equivalent of the Texas football schedule or Missouri in this 2-year hodgepodge garbage schedule. Arkansas, their conference slate, Mississippi State at home, at South Carolina, Florida at home, at Auburn, at Alabama, Georgia, at Missouri, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, at Kentucky. I mean, did they just give Dave Van Horn a blank sheet of paper and say, here you go, DVH, fill it out. Look, we know you're near the end. We'd really like to see you get over the hump and get one. So here, look, you fill out your schedule this year. You take it. And just let us know who you'd like to. It's like someone giving me the option of who I want LSU's permanent opponents in football to be. Yeah, give me Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Mississippi State. That's Arkansas's baseball schedule this year. Muse, you going to do a Musso at the box about this?
Potentially. I was thinking about it. Yeah. Just got to find the right time in the week. I mean, schedule. I could touch on Jay's extension. So, I mean, there's definitely some stuff that's happened in the offseason that's worth doing a show on. I mean, the only team in the league, just doing some browsing here today, that has a tougher road conference schedule is Oklahoma. Oklahoma, all 5 of their road series
brutal
are against the top 6 national seeds from a year ago, which is just awful. But, I mean, LSU's right there. any top half of the team league that LSU drew from a year ago, they play on the road, which is just absurd.
So Mark Etheridge is a really good follow on Twitter if you don't follow him, and he kind of gave a synopsis. If you go look at his Twitter, he gave a synopsis of everybody's schedule. So he notes about Oklahoma, to your point. He says, this is quite the slate. A&M at LSU, at Texas, Bama, at Vandy, Mizzou, at Auburn, Florida, at Arkansas, Tennessee. They do miss Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. It's like, so they miss all the bottom teams in the league. Congratulations.
That's tough. Oklahoma, their football schedule they got coming into the league, and now the baseball schedule. Their baseball schedule last year wasn't a walk in the park. They played really well. So we'll see, man.
There's no such thing as an easy slate in SEC baseball. I get it. And even there's years where you think weekends might be tough. Like a couple of years ago when Ole Miss stunk and you see them on the schedule and you think, oh, it's going to be tough. Well, then they stink. Or Auburn, when Auburn seemingly comes out of nowhere and has a fantastic year a year ago. So that can happen. It'll happen this year. There's somebody who's on the schedule you think is going to be really good is going to end up being terrible. That's just the nature of it. But there's no easy road in the SEC, but you can always pretty much count on certain programs that you know are going to be consistent, that are going to be talented, and it's going to be a hard weekend. And LSU has a very, very tough draw, which you would think that wouldn't happen given their standing in the national pecking order. But my goodness, league office did not do Jay Johnson any favors with this schedule. But Tigers will start the title defense against Milwaukee on Friday, February 13th. So set the schedule. I'm sure it'll be a day game, so Muse will be pissed off because they'll be sitting here. Yeah. Oh, it's already. They
got ahead of it. They got out ahead of it. They were just like, you know what?
It's already listed.
We know what we're gonna do here. Well, who's that first midweek game? That'll be at 2 p.m. Let's be honest.
They got Kent State on a Monday. Oh, so they're playing 4 that week. So they're going Milwaukee for 3 Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then Kent State Monday, and then they'll play Nichols on Wednesday. And it is a 1:00 game.
There you go. They're gonna, they probably won't play a night game until Kentucky comes here in the second week of SEC play.
Let's see, because they'll play Milwaukee and then they go to Jacksonville.
Their times there are awful.
Now the next weekend, these are scheduled night games.
Okay.
Dartmouth Northeastern, the round robin Monday through Friday. So those are now the Sunday game is at 1:00, but Friday, Saturday, Monday are all scheduled to be night games. They'll change it because it'll be cold and Jay's going to want to play it during the day. He'll change it.
Yep, they'll change it.
But if it's a round robin, you got to get 2 games in the day.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. What a non-conference slate.
Can we try to mix in something good?
No. Don't need to, man.
I know you don't need to. I know you don't need to, but just for the benefit of seeing something more interesting.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I would love that, but playing in the SEC, yeah. When you have 5 road series against the top half of the league,
but it's not like your RPI is always going to be fine.
Yeah,
that's not the point. It's just I think it's number one, giving your fans something more entertaining to watch. Number 2, challenging yourself. That's why I do like going and playing the thing in Jacksonville against better competition. It was like, look, last year. You go to Texas and play in that series, and sometimes you start walking people, or you identify certain issues. Your issues get exposed when you play better competition. So go play better competition. It's one thing to watch Maverick Rizzi throw 98 against dudes from a whatever league Northeastern's in. I don't whatever. The A-Sun. But what does that actually teach you about your team? Whatever. Jay's won 2 national titles in the last 3 years. I'm sure he'll figure it out.
Yeah, no, he knows what he's doing.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I just not have to watch LSU against Northeastern or Milwaukee? Or Dartmouth?
Ivy League.
Yeah.
Shout out to P Money's Ivy League series every year during Mardi Gras. That was a good time.
I wouldn't go on to Mardi Gras.
Me either. I watched baseball.
We're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com, ParrishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parrish Construction and Roofing. Real quick, I want to remind you, Friday is the deadline to enter for the $10,000 grant with the Louisiana Department of Insurance for your fortified roof. if you're interested in a fortified roof, remember it's a lottery for the grant. You can enter through the LDI website. We have a link at parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. You get a $10,000 grant to install a fortified roof at your home. And by the way, if you don't get chosen for that, we at Parish actually have access to additional grant money, which could be up to $15,000. So if you're interested in a fortified roof, call us. We are Louisiana's first Louisiana-based fortified roofing company. We'd love to help you out. And by the way, if you do apply at the LDI for the LDI grant, there's a section where you choose your contractor. We would love it if you would choose Parish Construction and Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Okay, y'all, final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks. Come back. We'll bemoan another bad beat. It's 2 bad beats in consecutive nights in the NFL. That's a rough way to start the season. Anyway, Jimmy will be here next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Another home weekend means this Friday, the Fighting Tigers of LSU will be at Renaissance Baton Rouge. The Renaissance Hotel is the LSU football team's home away from home when the Tigers are at home. That's right. Of course, they're not going to stay on campus, which becomes a madhouse during LSU football weekend. So they get out of there where they can get away from it all, get a little focus before the home weekend. So they move their full operation to Renaissance Baton Rouge right there on Bluebonnet. You want to stay where the Tigers stay? Stay at Renaissance Baton Rouge. And if Renaissance Baton Rouge is big enough, spacious enough, capable of hosting the entire LSU football team meetings, team prayer service, team meals, individual position group meetings, all that sort of stuff, better believe they can host your event. If it's a wedding reception, if it's a fundraiser, if it's some type of dance, social, cocktail hour, board meeting, they can do it all at Renaissance Baton Rouge. It's right there on Bluebonnet. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you?
Just another blown lead in the NFL, huh?
Did you see the stat that I threw out?
No, I mean,
hang on.
I've seen them. Oh, which one? I mean, there's plenty to go around.
All right, so here you go. Before the start of Sunday Night Football, teams leading the season opener by more than 10 points at the start of the fourth quarter were 473, 22-5. That's a 955 winning percentage. Ravens and Bears both blew leads of 11+ and lost.
There you go. And again,
bad beat, man.
I'll say it. You know, alive. You know, you kind of, as soon as they went backward, made it a long field goal. Santos missed it, and then all right, but then they popped the play. I'm like, there's the spark.
Yep.
Now, you know, I didn't know they would finish with a touchdown, but they did. Now, once they cut it to 5, then if you're not hedging a little bit by then, you know, you're getting a little greedy because that game is momentum. Some people say momentum doesn't exist. Okay, all right. Well, it's all right. We did pull out our parlay in last night, but again, never been a bad beat that you couldn't hedge out of. So use that live in-game betting. So let's go to Philadelphia in New York. Phillies, Aaron Nola, 6 shutout innings. They're struggling this year, but I mean, with Wheeler out, they sure could use him in the playoffs. And now they have an 8-game lead. Suarez, one of their top pitchers against, down the line pitching Sean Manaea. We backed Manaea when he was pitching well. He's fallen out of his tree. This is a rotor stinky line. This line should be higher than 137. Give us the Phillies minus 137. So I'm not sure what you have right now. That started. So.
It's just underway, bottom first. Nobody on, nobody out, but the Phillies are already at minus 180.
Yeah, I mean, they get a 0 on the top of it. I would lay off now.
Yeah. I'll see if we can get a better. I'll watch it. See if we get a better number. All right.
If they are scoreless in the bottom, go to the top of the second, it'll be closer to the original line.
Okay.
And I would bet it at that point, but not right now at -80. No way. San Francisco, they stay hot. They fell behind 3-0. And our parlay looked doomed. I mean, Seattle was down 2-0. San Francisco was down 3-0. They both stormed back, and San Francisco is just on fire right now. We're going to back them again. Robbie Ray and Zach Gallen at home, -145. And then Houston, Toronto, very low number with Garcia and Bieber pitching tonight. Over 8 in the Astros-Toronto game that starts in about 6 minutes.
All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
Modesto on Burbank, right by Nicholson.
Awesome. Great spot. Jimmy and Charlie, weekdays, 11-1. Thank you, Otter. Good luck.
All right, good luck.
All right, man. Muse Pauly, appreciate you. Y'all have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
After further review.
As we get on down the road, I'll remind you about First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land? Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthland.com. Start at the website, firstsouthland.com. for First South Farm Credit. First in agriculture for more than 100 years. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. And, I love telling you about so many of the different ways that they help Louisiana homeowners buy land. Maybe it's the tax benefits. As a landowner, you're going to incur expenses. And you could have tax-deductible expenses. So ask your CPA about the benefits of owning recreational timberland. Land is a finite resource. I mean, it's never going down in value. I don't think we're going to see another Christopher Columbus sailing the ocean blue and finding some new landmass we're unfamiliar with. So get yours today. First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthland.com.